Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob Thomas, your everything Microsoft Enterprise Cloud Solution Architect. And today we're going to cover high availability in the sense of virtual machines with Azure. So without further ado, before we get started, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. I want to thank the Enterprise Software Solution, the software dudes. These guys are great. You're going down this journey learning about high availability. This is very, very critical. Definitely you need a company like this to really give you some insight and a lot of support whenever you're working with Microsoft. So now Microsoft, the company, the big, I don't know, like $150 billion industry, is providing all these solutions. So now you'll have a partner that specifically is working with them and works with you and helps you to understand any specific needs, especially around high availability. So I highly recommend reaching out to them if you have any of your Azure, Microsoft 365, Windows Server, SQL Server needs. These guys are great, especially on this topic that I'm covering today. All right, so let's jump into this. Now, today we're diving, as I mentioned, we're diving into Microsoft Azure high availability. And how can you design your infrastructure for maximizing uptime and performance? And high availability is 99% about uptime. Uptime means that I actually introduce these applications and they need to be up and working. My 99.99% of the time, my website needs to be online and available for people to go to. Now, if it's down, that means that my website is down, and it could be down for a lot of reasons. Or if something is going on where I get too many people coming to the website, it's going to mess with performance because the site is going to be slow. Now, whether you're a cloud architect or just getting started, understanding your high availability and the options that are presented before you is key to keeping your applications running smoothly. Let's jump in a little bit deeper. Let's talk about the very first thing. And I want to use this in the context of when I'm starting to create my website, right? So when you're creating a virtual machine in Azure, and I'm creating the virtual machine to create my website and put it on there, I need to choose the right disk space, which is crucial for the performance. Azure provides multiple disk options, disk types. I'm going to cover 5 real quickly, like Ultra Disk, Premium SSD version 2, Premium SSD version 1, Standard SSD, SSD means solid state drive, and then Standard HDD hard drive, right? We're all used to old school standard hard drives, and then all of a sudden solid state drives came in and just made our lives a lot more faster. Now they're talking about the premium solid state drives, which is ideal for production environments needing low latency. In other words, low latency is a word, meaning that I get higher performance. More people come to my site. They're basically what happens is the database serves those pages. So if you're pulling the data off of a premium solid state drive version 2, you're going to get massive speed. So they're able to go to the website and then pull those pages. Now, if you're in the whole website world, you know that if my pages are slow or being served slow, all of a sudden Google penalizes you and you lose your ranking and it just becomes this massive, endless problem. This is the reason for using Azure. Highly recommending using Azure products is because now if you're using Azure products and introducing, you can scale and get better performance, right? And you're able to start getting your website to be super, super fast, no low latency. It's just you take off the training wheels, and we're all used to using other services, and I like services like Cloudways. These guys are great because they're good providers of Microsoft products, Google products, anything like that. But your integrations becomes an issue, right? Because now you need to figure out how do I integrate this stuff. And I'm using all these things like Cloudflare and Cloudways, and I'm trying to get everything to work. I got my WordPress site. I got things over here. I got other apps that I'm buying, and I can't integrate it. This is where I love Azure, because now if I start moving everything to Azure, the integrations are natively built into the platform, and I'm able to save money. Right? So I gave you a mouthful. So choosing the right disk ensures your VMs run smoothly and meets the required service level agreements, SLA. And your SLA is an uptime of 99.99%. That's what you're shooting for. All right. Now, implementation guidance. I want to talk about VM sizing recommendations. And basically, The right VM size depends on your workload. Consider the CPU, the RAM, the disk performance needs. Optimize for performance while keeping cost in check. Cost is key here. Using Azure's recommended VM size for workloads like databases, web apps, and analytics is key, right? By selecting the right virtual machine, you ensure better reliability and efficiency. And this is important because no matter what you're using Azure, you're going in and you're trying to say, what is my server going to look like? Like, do I need 4 CPUs? Like, the more CPUs, the better. The more RAM, the better. The more storage space, the better, right? Okay, profile container storage minimum 30 gigabytes. So I'm looking to say, all right, do I need light, medium, heavy, or power? And I'm playing around with this. Now, the more you introduce this VM sizing, the more you size your VM, the more money you're going to spend. So you're trying to figure out, how can I give it the best performance, but not give it too much? If I give it too much, I'm spending more money and I'm wasting it. But if I get it the right amount, it's good. And then I'm able to scale it. All of a sudden, my business is taking off. I'm getting a lot more traffic. Boom. I can easily start scaling this up without having to buy server and hardwares. So I hope this was helpful, because this is very, very important when you're trying to get the performance. You're running into like a lot of issues with Google because you're losing ranking and you're saying, I optimize as best as I can. I need to actually give it more hardware resources, and using the cloud solution just makes that easy. Like, it takes a couple of seconds to go from light to medium, from medium to heavy, right? And I'm able to grow my infrastructure. All right, now moving on, availability zones. Azure has availability zones, physical separate locations with a region, each with its own power, cooling, and network. This is behind the scenes, right? So there are 3 zones per region. Deploying across multiple zones protects against failures. And then if the zones go down, your workload remains up and running in another. So this is good. This is the concept of high availability, is that I actually have my whole environment replicated on a different zone. So if for some reason physical hardware failed, that zone's going to pick up and it's going to keep your website up and running. My VMs that are installed on my websites that install my VMs, they're going to stay running 99.9% of the time. I don't even notice it went down. My customers are happy. I didn't just wake up, my site's down and I'm not making money, which is a challenge, right? So high availability zones is very key. And then availability sets. And moving to that topic. Now, this is availability sets helps you keep your VMs running even if hardware fails. VMs is available. Availability sets are placed across update zones. So they're not updated all at once, and fault domains. So they don't share the same power and network. This setup prevents downtimes during updates and failures. So your actual VMs and infrastructure just over time needs to be updated. Right? And adding a Azure load balance to evenly distribute the traffic for more reliability. So if all of a sudden I'm getting 30,000 people coming to the site, it could take my site down, and I'll have an Azure load balancer in place. Again, one of the most critical reasons why you use Azure is because you need a load balancer in this infrastructure. And you don't really get that in these cheaper domain those domain providers, right? They control that because they're using Azure on their backend and selling it to you. But you don't get the load balance feature, right? Now you have more power and accessibility. All right, so now virtual machine scale sets. Finally, we have this, which automatically adjusts the number of VMs based on your demands. So if there's something, you're getting a spike in traffic, more people coming, you need to be able to scale and scale quickly and scale fast and scale cheaply and efficiently. More instances are added whenever there's a traffic spike. If demand drops, unnecessary VPMs are removed, saving you costs. Load balancing ensures smooth traffic distribution, right? So this is an excellent way to automate high availability for applications with fluctuating workloads, and which will give you, that great scalability. All right, now let's wrap up. High availability is Azure's way to ensure that applications are always up and running. Whether you're trying to figure out your disk choice, your VMs sizing, availability zone sets, or scale sets, using the right strategy helps you design a resilient cloud environment, helps you save money, helps you grow. I mean, I can't stress how this is super important. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment on talking about availability or any topic that you want me to talk about next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.